Hi, this is Vicki with Crafting for Fun. Today I want to share with you how to make this cute interactive card. This is called a waterfall card. It has a ribbon pull at the bottom, and when I pull on it, each of the images will roll over to reveal a hidden message at the bottom. Now this is a birthday card, but this could easily be made into a really cute surprise invitation for a birthday party where you pulled the tag forward to reveal an invitation to a party. Really fun and easy to make, and I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I cheated today and actually used stickers to create my images. Now most scrapbookers kind of bristle a little bit when you talk about stickers because we're so into our stamping, but this is a really easy way to get 4 coordinating images, and if you need to make a lot of these little puppies fast, it's an easy way to crank them out. So let me get my supplies together and I'll show you how to make this. To create this card you'll need the following things. I'm using Bermuda Bay cardstock because it coordinates with the designer paper that I've picked, but you'll need a piece of cardstock that measures 5 1/2 inches by 4 1/4 inches. So the size of a standard base card, only it's not a folding card, it's just a flat card. You'll also need a piece of cardstock that measures 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. So 5 by 3 3/4, and this is real red, again, because it coordinates with my designer paper. Then you'll need a piece of designer series paper that measures 4 3/4 by 3 1/2 inches. You'll need 4 pieces of cardstock for your pull, each measuring 2 inches by 2 inches, so 4 of those. You'll need 4 pieces of white cardstock that measure 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, and that's to put your image on, so you could either stamp an image or, in my case, use a sticker. You'll need a piece of cardstock that is 1 inch by 3 3/4, and again I'm using real red because that is the same color as the layer that it will lay on top of. And then you'll need 2 additional pieces. This piece measures 2 inches by 9 inches, and it is to create my pull, and you're going to want to score that at 2 inches, 2 3/4 inches, 3 1/2, and 4 1/4. So again, that's 2, 2 3/4, 3 1/2, and 4 1/4 inches from one of the ends. And then I cut an additional piece of cardstock that is 2 inches by 4 1/4, 4 1/4 inches, and I'll come back and talk to you about that here in a minute. So let me put all of this aside and I'll show you how we assemble the card. So pardon me, I'm going to take my very bottom piece and set it aside, and I'm going to work with my red layer, which is my second layer, and my designer series paper. Pardon me. So I'm going to apply adhesive to my designer series paper. And I'm going to go ahead and center that on my red layer. Now I did leave a wider border on my Bermuda Bay on the backer piece than I did. You'll see that when you center that on there, there's a wider border on the outside than next to my paper, and that was intentional on my part. I do see a little fuzzy here that I wanted to... My blade must be getting dull. There we go. Okay, now you're going to take that little strip of paper that was 3 3/4 by 1 inch, and you're going to want to temporarily adhere that about a little less than 1/3 of the way up, maybe 1 1/4 inches from the bottom of your paper. So go ahead and adhere that, and the red piece should go from side to side. And now I'm going to use 2 mini brads. Since this card does have a pull on it, there's a little bit of tension, and I'm just going to use 2 white mini brads to make sure that mine is held securely in place. And so to make a hole for instilling those, I'm going to use a handheld punch. So I'm going to go ahead and complete that part now. So I'm just going to insert my paper in my punch and try to hit the center there. And I'm going to try to get these equal on both sides. Oops. There we go. Now I'm finished with that, and so I'm going to go ahead and insert my mini brads. And that is why I work with these 2 layers before I work with that bottom layer, because by doing it this way, when I insert my brads and open them up on the back, and I have those little legs that aren't very pretty, I'm going to be able to hide them when I go ahead and attach it to my next layer. So now I'm ready to go ahead and put this layer onto the backer piece. So I'm going to bring back that Bermuda Bay cardstock and go ahead and center this up. There we go. And now I'm ready to set that aside because I'm going to go ahead and create my flip element. So I'm going to bring back all of my parts for my flip element, and I'm going to assemble these little squares first. Now I have a strip of just 4 party hats, and this is very inexpensive. I think I was able to get enough of these to create like I think 9 or 10 of these cards for like $1.50. You can find these at any dollar store or craft store. All I'm going to do is apply one of these stickers to the center of each of these little 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 white squares. And they don't even have to be straight. That's what's so cool about it, because they're party hats and they can really go in any direction. In fact, on the sticker sheet, they're shown crooked and straight, and I'm going to intentionally make some of them go in different directions. Okay. There we go. And one of them even says happy birthday on it. So now I'm going to take those little white squares and turn them over and attach them to my 2 by 2 squares. I'm just going to center them up so there's about the same amount of border on all sides. Now the greeting that I'm going to use today is from the Let Your Hair Down stamp set by Stampin' Up. And I actually had a hard time deciding which one of these I wanted to use. One of the stamps says, it's your birthday, let your hair down, and I thought that was cute with the hats. But I think I actually chose to use the stamp that says, never too old to party. And my last one. So you can see that this is coming together fairly quickly. There are quite a few little pieces to cut, but don't be intimidated by that because they're all very easy. Okay, so now I'm going to, at my 2-inch score line, I'm going to fold, and this is where you really want to have a bone folder handy. So I'm going to burnish that very well. Then at my 2 3/4, I'm going to fold that. And at my 3 1/2 score line, I'm going to fold. And at my 4 1/4, I'm going to fold. Now that you have your cardstock folded along all of the score lines, it's time to go ahead and assemble the card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my piece in half, so that my scored section is facing me, and there's the 2-inch by 2-inch square at the bottom. And I'm going to begin layering at the bottom. So when I do this, I want to apply adhesive only to this top section of the square, not all over the back of the square. And actually, it'd probably be easier to flip that out. And then I want to apply this square just below that first score line, so that it doesn't interfere with the bending, but it completely covers that backer piece. Then I will do the same thing with the next one. I want to put adhesive just at the top and line it up just below my score line and make sure that it's making a nice straight line with my other one. There we go. And press it firmly in place. Do the same thing with my next one. Put adhesive on and apply it just below the next score line up. The trick really is to work from the bottom up. And then my last image, I want to apply adhesive and just below that score line. And so what I have is a piece that looks like this. It's a stack and it's all lined up. Now I want to do a dry fit here. I'm going to insert this into my card. Now you can decide whether you'd like the bottom edge here. There's what it looks like. Whether you'd like the bottom edge of this yellow piece to line up with the white, or whether you want it to go all the way to the bottom. I usually line mine up with the next layer, because that way when I put my pull on there, it'll be obvious. And I'm going to grab a circle punch because I want to create a little area here to create that pull. So let me grab my circle punch and I'll be right back to show you how to finish this card up. I have my 1 1/4 inch circle punch here, and I want to pull this out, and I'm going to take my punch and turn it over, and I'm going to try to center it up. I want to punch about half of a circle out, but I want to make sure that I have the same amount on this side as this side to try to get it in the center. There we go, and I punched out about half of my circle. Now I'm going to do one more thing before I go ahead and assemble this. I'm going to turn this piece over, so this is the back side, and I'm going to bring back that piece that is 4 3/4 by 2 inches. I may have misspoken earlier. And I'm going to actually apply that to the back. Now, I've seen this card made many times, and I haven't actually ever seen anybody else do this, but I like to add this piece to the back. Center it up really well. I like to add this piece to the back to give my backer a little bit more stability. I hate when I pull on the card and that little pull piece wants to buckle a little bit, so that's why I add that. So now what I'm going to do, and this is where I would recommend using something like sticky strip, but for right now I'm just going to use snail to show you for demonstration. And you're going to put some adhesive right there in the middle, but you want to stay right where it's matching up with your 2-inch piece, because that is what's going to hold that top piece down. You don't want to glue the back piece, just right there on that little band that goes across. And the only thing we have left to do is to take our snip of ribbon, whoops, and I just fold it in half and staple it here on the bottom. And I just use a regular ordinary household stapler, and I don't seem to have mine handy. And so now when I pull on that, you'll see that it opens and closes nicely. So I would just staple that right on there. I'm going to open mine up now, and I'm going to stamp a sentiment. And this is where you would put your little sentiment. Now I thought about adding additional layers here, but if you add an additional layer, like a white layer to stamp on, then what happens is it wants to catch on that little band as it's moving in and out. So that is really not a very good idea. I'm going to use Memento ink, and again I'm using a sentiment from the Let Your Hair Down stamp set by Stampin' Up, and I'm going to use this Never Too Old to Party. So I'm going to go ahead and put my sentiment right, and you want to put it high enough up where it's not going to be seen until they extend that pull. So there we go. And let me show you my other finished card. The only thing I have to do left is staple that little piece of ribbon on. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you have any questions, please email me at craftingforfun@gmail.com or check out my blog craftingforfun.blogspot.com for additional craft ideas. Thank you.